Do burglars really avoid houses with dogs? 1. I worked for several years as a critical care transport medic for the Texas prison system, and I spent a lot of time in the back of an ambulance, whiling away long rides talking with my patients. Every single one said the same thing about dogs. Even the presence of a noisy little chihuahua would make them move on to a less hazardous house. And the thought of encountering a large, quiet dog was terrifying. There were plenty of other houses. I trained my dogs, especially the big ones, to sit quietly behind me as I talked to visitors at the front door. Those door-to-door magazine salespeople or fundraisers for causes you've never heard of, who are really just trying to find out who's home during the day and get a peek into your house, always get a good eyeballing from my chief of security. 2. My dad was a cop, and back in the early 70s, he had a pit bull. If he was at home and someone approached the front door, the dog would let out one quiet, almost whispering bark. He'd then stand next to the door, watching, but he wouldn't make another sound. Dad always wondered what would happen if he wasn't home, and eventually, he found out. One night while Dad was at work, someone broke into the house. Thunder, the pit bull, apparently sat in the dark in complete silence, patiently waiting for the burglar to close and lock the door. He then relieved the perp of much of his clothing and a large part of his backside. Dad came home to find the living room littered with scraps of bloody fabric and the inside of the door covered in frantic, bloody handprints. The guy got out. It turned out it was a drug addict who lived down the block. He was easy to find by following the trail of blood down the sidewalk. Dad didn't have him prosecuted, although they did have an in-depth conversation about the young man's future. The guy told Dad there was no way in hell he'd have broken in if he'd known about the dog. He moved away within a week.